LoreWarrior Aerotech. The Xerxes. Overview. Until 3060, Clan Hell's Horses shared the Kerensky cluster world of Kirin with the Smoke Jaguars, brutally aggressive neighbours for whom the horses held little love. Trials between the clans, both small and large, filled the decades of this cohabitation, and few of the horses were upset when the SLDF arrived to annihilate the clan on Huntress. When the Jaguar forces did hastily call home to assist their Tauman in fighting at the clan's capital world, the horses seized an opportunity to secure Kirin completely. Even before the outcome of the SLDF invasion of Huntress was known, Hell's Horses troops had moved to claim several facilities. All of them, including the orbital armor and aerospace factories, fell to the horses without a single shot being fired. The SJ-3 orbital works proved to be among the most valuable of these prizes as the remaining manufacturing center for the second-line Xerxes heavy strike fighter. Capabilities. The heavily armed and armored Xerxes is intended to bring enemy aerospace down hard and fast, with a respectable safe acceleration rate of 3 Gs. It can provide crippling air-to-ground support fire capable of flattening a mech if need be. Derisively known among clansmen as the Hunchback 2C of the skies, the Xerxes is a straight air supremacy craft in keeping with the Jaguar's brutal approach to warfare. Its armament centers on a pair of heavy ultra-autocannons, one mounted in each wing, which can blast a tremendous amount of armor and structure off an opposing fighter or ground vehicle in a single pass. Backed up by a pair of nose-mounted extended-range large lasers, the Xerxes can practically guarantee victory in a second pass if its target hasn't already fallen, making this fighter a vicious contender in the skies. The lasers, intended as a backup weapon and for ground strafing runs, can rarely fire in conjunction with the autocannons. If the pilot does so, he risks an early combat shutdown and a complete loss of control. Competent fighter pilots quickly learn to stagger this weapon's fire, keeping heat levels down and using the cannons sparingly to make the ammo last. Deployment. In its heyday, the Xerxes could be found in service within every clan's Tauman, where they often acted as anti-mech ground attack craft or straight air supremacy fighters, acting in points of 2. These fighters even occasionally challenged inbound dropships, tearing armor open in fast passes so supporting fighters could take advantage of the now weakened protection. After the dawn of the Omni Fighter, though, these craft quickly became relegated to second-line status, acting as dropship and warship escorts instead. Today, Xerxes may still be found in every clan, but the highest concentration by far are those of the Hell's Horses, the Fire Mandrels, and Snow Ravens, all of whom still employ the fighter as an aerospace superiority and ground support craft. Variants. Now that SJ-3 is firmly under Hell's Horses' control, clan engineers are considering a redesign of the old Xerxes that trades the heavy autocannons for Gauss rifles. So here we are with an ancient Persian king. Its mass is 85 tons. Its frame is a Type 42-5 Aero. Power plant is the Fusion 340 standard, and its armor is the compound XAS ferro aluminium. Armament is 2 Aero Model 4 Ultra 20 autocannon. Its 2 Series S6A extended range large lasers round out the weapons package, and it's manufactured by Kirin Orbital Works SJ3. Its communication system is the KOW or COWCOM Type 9. And finally, we have the probably one of the best, but sadly not produced anymore, targeting and tracking systems in the ASG Mark 7. Now, this is a wonder. Not only does it have ergonomics that make it very easy for a pilot, or on a few occasions where it was tested out in things like mechs and vehicles, for a pilot or crew to be able to use, easily understand it visually from a layout and just very quickly be able to know what parts were what. But it also had a user interface that was clean, clear, and effective. There was no unnecessary clutter. It just worked. And it had had the ability to be wirelessly updated with latest targeting and tracking information. And it came with pre-installed profiles of all current units, be they ground or air, being used by enemy forces at the time, and that could be dynamically updated and swapped out. It was a great system. The Mark 7, I believe, might have been the last before. Yeah, obviously the Omni Fighter came out, and they had all kinds of different, like, more fancier ones. But you think about it like it was Windows. Like you got Windows like 42 now. Well, back then it was a bit like Windows 30, but it worked. That was the difference. But yeah, the Xerxes stats. Safe thrust of 6, max thrust of 9. Heat sinks is 12 in total, so yeah, not a huge amount of heat dissipation on a craft that carries, well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. You know, it doesn't even have to really tell you that much, but it's 45 armor on the nose, 43 on the wings, and 42 on the aft, and it has a pair of ER large lasers mounted in the nose. It's, yeah, you can see them there just at the front, and then a pair of Ultra 20s, one on each wing. It says the wing, really, it's kind of like the actual fuselage itself it's attached to, because I think weapons like that on the wings firing might actually make it a little dangerous. I'd imagine that the amount of recoil being fired in atmospheric conditions could cause the craft to sharply veer off one side or the other, unless it had a lot of counter thrust for that. And it has I think it's a single, no, actually, I read this wrong, 4 ton of ammo, so about 10 shots in each weapon, 20 in total. So not a bad amount of ammunition, but also it means as an Ultra, it can double tap and do obviously 80 damage in a single run, making this incredibly terrifying. But also risking jamming, or just running out of ammo extremely quickly. But yeah, as it says, I mean, yeah, it is the Hunchback 2C of the skies. The idea of like, well, what if this terrifying mech, but it was flying around? And that's exactly what this is. A very aggressive looking fighter with all these kind of bladed wingtips as well, which looks quite cool. Yeah, an aggressive kind of nose and cockpit design there with big thrust engines on the back. It looks great. It's a very, very aggressive fighter. Definitely in keeping with the style, I'd imagine, that Smoke Jaguar go for. So it's yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a nice fighter. But yeah, that was the Xerxes. Definitely something that you can use to ruin any player's day, and something that has an interesting bit of background. I like that. Hell's Horse is getting a win for a change. It's quite rare, but it's good when it happens. Anyway, have a good one all. Thanks for joining. As always, I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.